is the Rangers Journal Night.
Hello everyone, welcome to the post-match reaction video to Rangers 1-1 draw with St Mirren. Familiar scoreline this season. We're here to kind of go over the game and go over the whole situation at the moment. Welcome back, Cammy. I'll come to you first. Oh, we can't hear you. Is your mic off?
He's getting the expletives out before he's on air.
Is that what it is? I'll come to you, Ryan. You come in first. How you doing, mate?
I am okay. Cammy was struggling in the pre-match as well, so I wonder if he's having the same gig. I'm disappointed, but obviously can't say I'm surprised because in the pre-match, this is exactly what we said we were expecting. Slow, lethargic, boring football, and it's just come back and slapped us in the face again.
And Mitch, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining today.
Always a pleasure to see you, Billy, and always, of course, to be joined by Mr. Danoon himself.
That's it. Well, look, Mitch, I'll stay with you because you went on the pre-match the same as myself. But I was surprised at the lineup. I was surprised at no striker. But you can't really argue that Danilo has deserved a starting slot. But I don't think it worked. This whole false nine.
Do you know, there's the way that on the eye test, Asgard didn't do an awful lot wrong in the first half. He played like a number 10 being asked to play in the striker role. The bits that I've seen of Asgard last season when he was at Luton, he's much better in that free roaming space just in behind the striker. And I think you could see in the first half it hurt the team where there was no focal outball of, that even the likes of Dessers offers, the likes of Agamani offers, that you could argue that Danilo doesn't offer that physical presence up top. And I think you could see that Asgard was playing in that position as well as he could. But for me, you can't be walking into a game off the back of the results that we've had with no recognised striker, especially when you've got one who is fully fit on the bench and another who will leave question marks over Agamani as to why he's not in or out the team. You can't be starting a game like this with a fully fit striker on the bench. It's a kick in the face to the striker who scored midweek and a kick in the face to fans to say, yes, I know we've got two strikers available, but you're not going to see either one of them until the chips are down.
Ryan, I didn't see anything today from St Mirren that I didn't see under Gio or Beale or Clement. They didn't do anything that they normally don't do, but this manager was meant to be able to break down the low block, and I don't think they particularly played that, especially in the first half. They were coming out at us, and in fact, I think they looked more likely to score throughout the match.
Yep, they're well drilled, well organised. They play to their strengths. They don't play to their weaknesses. They don't pretend they're something that they're not. They get the ball down, they clear their lines early, they get guys up the park, they win fouls in areas of the park where they want to win fouls, and then they get everybody up into the box to try and do something with that. We've seen obviously Gogic right at the very end, nearly scored a win if it wasn't for a decent save from Butland. But it is basically the Kellogg's cornflakes with someone. You're going to get the same with them every single time, and how we can't break that down when we're witnessing it season after season, it just baffles you. It just beggars belief that we've not got a manager that can actually work out a system that is going to beat them, week on week. And they're not that dissimilar to other teams in the league. You're going to see that from Motherwell. You're going to see that from Livingston. How can we not get something to suss this out? And it just comes down to just poor coaching more than anything else.
Cammy, welcome back. You with us now? No, he's not. Cammy, you're not having a good time. I don't know if I can change anything in your settings, but let's see. No, well, if you can't hear you, Cammy, feel free to come on next time you get it sorted out. Right, I'll come back to you, Mitch. Ryan brings up coaching there. This is looking like we've all seen this movie before, and this isn't working. I never want Rangers to get beat. I never want Rangers to draw. I always want them to win. But the silver lining in this is that this might be what's going to push the Americans over the edge and realise it's not working.
But I'd mentioned this in one of the chats, obviously, during the game. Russell Martin can't say it's the tools at his disposal because he's been, Kevin Thewell and Purdy have purchased quality players, proven quality players, like Gassama, like Ant-Man coming in, Rothwell still looks really, really unfit, in my opinion. And, come about 40 minutes into the game, he looked like he was needing an inhaler there and he was ready to scream for a medic to come on. You can't have, Max Aarons, who's not played a lot of football, for the last 2 years because of injury and the loan move to Valencia that didn't really work out and stuff. Players at this stage of the season should be feeling fresh, they should be feeling great, the legs should be feeling energetic. We've got players in the park there, in Aarons and in Rothwell, who look like they're towing caravans. If they're only fit for 30 minutes of the game, don't start them. Put them on for the last 30, likes of when Tavs came on and when the reinforcements had to come on to come and save the day, essentially. And I think the question for me at this point isn't the players at his disposal, because there's much better quality than last year available to the manager. At this point, it comes down to what the instruction, that's coming from the manager to the players looks like. And it looks to me, at least at a surface level, not being a coach or anything, it looks far too complicated what he's asking players to do. And football's not an overly complicated game.
Ryan, there's two players Mitch mentions there, and that's Aarons and Rothwell. I thought both were very, very poor, and I don't know why. I mean, I see Curry's in the comments. I'm not wanting Tavernier to start, but he is the better option at the moment. I'd rather we found a suitable replacement for him going forward. But it was a bad decision playing at Aarons. He didn't do anything in the game. Rothwell looked awful. I actually don't see him touch the ball to the 35th minute. I mean, he might have done before that, but it certainly didn't stand out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There was even one that was we had a half decent set piece opportunity in the first half. Or the second half, sorry. Running at the kind of 50, 60 minutes mark, and he's basically crossed it and it's hit the back post. Even the set piece delivery is shocking
Awful
from it. I don't see what Rothwell brings to the team. He's, there might be stuff that obviously we don't see as much in the TV as we would like. You maybe have to be in the stadium to witness where his industry is, where his work is. But for me, he's not contributing at all. You see the work of Cameron and Raskin today. I dare say both of them are going to be up at 15 kilometres of effort today, back and forth. I totally admire what they're doing. They're trying the best, but he, for me, is just completely ineffectual. And it's just getting to the stage now where when is this going to be unacceptable? It's unacceptable for the vast majority of Rangers fans at this moment in time. And I said the same about Clement when Clement was going his bad run. When does this become unacceptable? When do we get rid of him? And it's inevitable for Martin. I think probably 75%, 80% of the fan base didn't want him in the first place. And that didn't even happen under Big Phil. It didn't happen under Gio. It didn't happen under Beale. But he's down before he's even started his job. He's not doing well. He's not producing results. It's inevitable that it is there. And, the board might say, we're going to stick by him. That's fine. You stick by him. It doesn't mean we need to. And you'll just see the stadium will be empty week on week. And that's when it will start to really hurt. Because, when you're going to Ibrox, you want to see a full stadium. That's why the players want to sign for us. They come because they want to play in front of 50,000 people every single week, no 10 and 15,000 people. So it's just crap. It's the only way I can describe it. I wish I could use stronger words, but I don't want to get us chucked off air.
And then if we get this clickbait, come on, no, the day.
Nah, but listen, we'll get clipped. It's crap. It's just simply not good enough. It's embarrassing. We should be pasting these teams, like I said in the pre-match. We should be taking 3 and 4 goals off them. We're miles ahead of them. How can we not do it? It's the manager that's setting the team up.
Mitch, yeah, I'll come to you. Well, the manager throws on about half a dozen forwards, and we do get a goal back with Finlay Curtis. Good strike. It does take a bit of a deflection, but it was, because of a packed box, you're probably going to get that. At that point, are you thinking we were on the ascendancy and we're going to come back and put another goal in or get another couple?
The last 15 minutes of the game played out, after Curtis's equaliser, played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out. And I will say, with a gust of wind in the right direction, the effort that Danilo had helped try to obviously push on target from Tav at the end, that would, any other day, that would have went in. But I think what's really irritating from that, from a fan's perspective, is we shouldn't be, 85 minutes into a game against St Mirren, drawn with them, going, we probably don't even deserve the draw, if we're being honest. But, why has it come to the point that the 18-year-old wonder kid from our academy has had to come on and bail us out the mess that the senior players have got us in? If you're asking me from a kind of player perspective, did anyone earn pass marks today? And I would have said Finlay Curtis has probably nailed himself on a jersey for midweek. He's got to have, because there's not much else the boy can do at this point to say, put a shirt on me. And I would have said maybe McComa. And it's a bad day when the two of the youngest players in the team are the standouts on the day.
A comment here about the tactics, Ryan, and I guess you've kind of mentioned that already, and Mitch has mentioned how it's overly complicated. I don't know what he's doing or trying to do. I really don't. I'm watching this and we're just knocking it about the back still. Absolutely no urgency in the play, and then when we do get like a break of a ball, if say someone we're attacking, we're so slow to take advantage of their players. I mean, I think is it Gogic? He missed a shot, and then you just see him absolutely powering back to cover, and we just don't take advantage of any of these small breaks we get.
Yeah, it almost seems as if we're trying to outplay. Chances that the ball comes around the edge of the box, and you're just thinking, a wee tap round the corner, are we running behind? And it's not, it's back to the centre half. So there's one point that we were actually on the break. I was like, right, get to Gassama, move forward, and I'm basically shouting it, go like that to the screen. Yeah. And it ends up back at Jack Butland. I'm like, how does that happen? Like, how does it go for a situation where we've got an opportunity to break, get a shot in and go, get a chance in and go, and it ends up back at the goalkeeper? Just for the sake of keeping possession. It's the only thing I can think of is that keep possession, but it's chronic. I've watched football all my life, and I've always tried. I'd like to think I know enough about it to be able to say this is where things are going wrong, this is where things aren't great. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what's the plan here? What's the position? And it's not even to try and work the ball into the box and have tap-ins and stuff like the way that Arsenal used to do. It was like a million passes before they would shoot. It's like, do everything you possibly can not to score. It's almost like a kind of possession-based game where it's, you're not allowed to shoot, but your achievement is you've got to make 30 passes. If you make 30 passes, that counts as a goal. What you used to do in training. It's bonkers. I'm scared. Absolutely scared.
Mitch, I know that the setup, there's always going to be a kind of busy box, not a lot of room to move, but our lack of shots on target or shots and chances created is abysmal.
I think Ryan touched on this really, really nicely a minute ago. We doing 30 passes what could be done in 15 passes. And sometimes, and it's maybe it's an old school mentality, sometimes the best thing you can do is, if you're 20 yards out, the box is looking crowded, fire one into the mixer. Worst case scenario, the keeper saves it, puts it out. Or at best, you've got 2 or 3 players in the box and the ball's in the danger area. For somebody like Leo Cameron or Diamande, somebody to go in there and just knock a shot at goal at least. And it seems to be like the team are allergic to shoot from outside the box. And you're like, we've seen goals from outside the box for the team during pre-season, so what's changed between pre-season and now? Because it seems to, and the only answer to that question is they've had longer to be coached. So is it that Russell Martin wants to score the perfect goal the way that Arsenal used to score? Or is it that the players are genuinely so confused by what they're being asked that they're like, am I supposed to shoot? Am I not supposed to shoot? That way at this point, there's an allergy to shooting. I think that comes, that's the only perspective I've got, is it feels like the players are allergic to shooting.
Ryan, this hasn't just kind of to this manager though. I think we've been kind of complaining about the lack of, shots on goal for a while. And when we do score a goal from outside the box, or we get a break in the box from a shot and manage to score from that, we're kind of applauding it. But it doesn't just seem to be a Russell Martin problem though. Am I right there, or do you think I'm misremembering?
No, I think it was when we signed Tom Lawrence, he was known for having shots outside the box. We were told that Kieran Dowell's got an eye for goal from shots outside the box. But Rami scores one against Alloa last Saturday. And it's a shot, or Saturday before, it's a shot from outside the box. You're like, what are you doing that for? You're not meant to do that. And it goes, it's a great finish. And you're looking at it thinking, why are you shooting from outside the box? That was unusual. We should be doing that more. And it's something also when you are playing against a low block that you do have shots from outside. Instead of going pass, get guys making runs so the space opens up in front of you. And as soon as you get a sight of goal, have a ping at the goalkeeper. If he spills it, you've got guys running in front of him as well that could possibly get a tap in. If you can't get through them, if you can't play around them, if you can't play through them, then you just have a ping from outside the box. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you don't shoot, nobody's going to score goals. So what's wrong with having a go at the edge of the box? The keeper might have a flap at it. We've seen Curtis's goal that obviously took one or two deflections, getting to the back of the net. Sometimes you do get that wee bit of luck. But ultimately, if you're not going to take the strike at goal, nobody's going to score goals. And it's like Mitch is saying, it's like an analogy of shooting. It's an analogy of taking. We're screaming out for a goal scorer, and I can't believe that all the money that's supposed to be getting pumped into the club, all the the new ideas and the new ways of doing things, that we've not identified a striker. Big Turkman, the big Israeli, who were supposed to be earmarked that this is the guy we're going for. He's away at the MLS this week. He's gone. We've missed that opportunity. How can we not find the £4 or £5 million that we needed to get him? We knew that the money was going to come in for Jeffy. Why can we not spend that on a striker? We need another left back anyway, but surely to goodness we need a goal scorer before we need a left back.
Let me bring this comment up to Curry because I think this is where I am. I'm not particularly raging. I'm just fed up of seeing this movie again. And Ryan, you say it's just going to turn fans away. I've no inclination to want to get back down the road to Ibrox at the moment, and that's me. I've been to a few games already, and that's what it's done to me. In the first game, I was at when Ant-Man had his debut. He was fantastic, Mitch, but I don't think he's done anything since. Today, he seemed like he just sat out on the touchline and wasn't really wanting to receive the ball.
I think for me, when you watch Ant-Man and Aarons, when you watch the two of them together, if you watch on the opposite wing, Magoma and Gassama move as a unit. One goes forward, the other one overlaps in front to give the man an option in front of him. Aarons doesn't move in front of Ant-Man. Like, he basically gives the ball to Ant-Man and then says to Ant-Man, right, your ball, jog on, mate, and go and do what you're doing. That's the difference between both sides of the pitch. And I think it comes down to that football and chemistry with the man behind you. I don't think Aarons and Ant-Man have that chemistry with each other yet to say, we can work in a unit the same way that the opposite wing work on. And if Aarons wants to be a bit more of a defensive-minded right mid, that's right back, that's fine. But then at that point, Russell Martin should be identifying that as a coach and saying, well, when Ant-Man goes on the ball, we're going to ask, Asgard to move with him, or we're going to ask Diamande to move with him, and they're going to work as a pod together, so that one player's got space and the player on the outside has always got an option to cut back into. At the moment, Ant-Man, the last couple of games with Aarons behind him, just looks so isolated when he takes the ball, because when he does get the ball, it's coming to him quite late. So at that point, he's already got 2 men on him or 3 men on him. So I really used an expression there that was going to get us clipped. There's nothing that he can do with the ball, but he's on the touchline because he's got no option either in behind him or to the side of him to pull it back out. A couple of times in the first half, he managed to get through by just going old-fashioned wing play, turning round and facing up to his man. But I think, again, having the lack of striker in there, that big target man, and for all people might not want to hear it, Dessers right now offers probably the best output of the strikers we've got. That's not a dig at Agamani, because I like Agamani and we all know the ceiling for him is through the roof. But if you look at, if we take what the manager's saying, the surface level is truth about his fitness levels, at this point, who would you rather have leading the line? Dessers is the outball target man who, in the games this season already, has linked the play so much better than Danilo has, because he'll come back and he'll do grunt work and he'll do the old-fashioned stuff that nobody really wants to see. He'll take the bumps, he'll take the physicality, but he also causes a bit of carnage because teams don't know what's going to happen. We might get 10 out of 10 world beater Cyril on the day, or we might have 4 out of 10 Sunday League team Cyril that turns up on the day. But the thing is, he puts himself in the right positions to help the team.
Ryan, this group of players, if we set them up differently? Do you see them actually being able to be successful?
Yeah, I don't think there's a bad group of players out there. You look at Sam. Atman's still obviously in his kind of settling in period, but I think Atman would be a better player on bigger parks. You see him obviously. He was good against Bruges in his first game, and the size of the park that we've got at Ibrox. But you see when he starts getting into kind of smaller parks where it's easier for them. There was one point in the game in the first half where he had 3 guys in front of him. Now, people are giving him a hard time, saying he's not good enough and stuff like that, but I challenge anyone to get Lionel Messi in front of three guys and be able to beat them every single time. So it's difficult for him, but on bigger parks and wider pitches and stuff, I think that's where you're going to see the best of him. We'll probably then got to look at, do we then play him in these kind of smaller games where smaller parks, where you're going to have very much a low block in front of you. Do we then look towards the likes of Curtis, to then play? Do we then start looking at other maybe not so much traditional wingers where you can get guys like Bajrami, where maybe he's not an obvious wide man, but can operate wide. Eagleman's obviously operated wide at some points as well, to varying different levels of effect. So it's just that it's a nightmare. I'm dumbfounded with it all. I'm just going to get lost for words. The next 2 games could turn out to be really, really embarrassing for us. And that's the kind of thing. I'm heading out to Belgium on Wednesday, and it could be an absolute stuffing. We've seen what they could do is against 20 minutes, and they took the foot right off the gas. If they go up out there, their fans won't let them take the foot off the gas, and they've got nothing to lose. They actually went 3-0 up, and they protected a lead to take something back to Belgium. We could get really, really hurt on Wednesday night and really, really embarrassed. And that could be, it could be a sore one. Then come next Sunday, we're obviously going to be playing our biggest rivals. They'll be coming looking at us thinking, there's a wounded animal there, going to finish it off. So where does that leave Russell Martin after that? Where do the fans, everyone's fed up with him, sick of him already. Everyone's calling for his head at this moment in time, rightly or wrongly. But if we take 2 hammers this week, anyone who had any sort of faith left in him at all, anyone who's saying trust the process, give him time, he's still settling in, he still needs to sign a few players, there's no credit left in the bank. Time's up. Time's up already for him, for a lot of people already. So it could be a shocker this week. I'm really, really worried about it.
Mitch, I actually thought to myself, I don't think I said it live on a pod or anything, but I thought, including this game, I thought the 5 games we've got coming up could all be defeats. St Mirren could easily have beaten us today. They got a chance towards the end as well. Bruges could easily beat us. Celtic could easily beat us. And then we've got Hearts and Hibs as well after that. If he doesn't come out of that with mostly wins, then surely his position's untenable.
For me, out of those 5, the bare minimum expectation should be 3 victories out of the 5. And I'm talking as a bare minimum. Obviously, we walk into every game with an expectation, rightly or wrongly, to win every game that we play. But for me, you should be coming through a series of fixtures like that. You look at the Bruges game and you go, that's maybe the anomaly. But you say, right, Bruges, you say, is the final round of a qualifier for the Champions League maybe just a bit above this team? Quite possibly. Based on the current evidence, you'd say quite probably, based on the current evidence. But I've never seen, in my lifetime, a manager come in and be so universally disliked so soon into their tenure. So we're not even at the end of August, and the window's still open. And all of us, I don't think any of us would be genuinely that bothered if the board turned round and said after Bruges, tell you what, Russell, thanks for your time away down the road. And I think it's worth remembering when it comes to Russell Martin, this is a manager who took 6 or 7 interviews to get the job. To me, it doesn't matter what job you're at, whatever job you're in, if you're looking at 6 or 7 interviews at that point, you were probably never the man for the job in the first place. And I'm normally one to advocate, and you guys have both been on pods with myself in the past where even under the worst of the Clement era, I'm not one to call for a head that quickly, but I'm very quickly approaching the point of sometimes it's okay for a new ownership to put 2 hands up and say, we got it wrong.
Ryan, there was some rumours kicking around this morning that the board have sounded Gerrard out. Do you think there's any truth in that?
Doubt it. I'd be very surprised if that was the truth. The board had the opportunity to get Gerrard. Gerrard was very much in the frame that he wanted the job back. There's all this stuff about his wife, did he want to come back? And, there was tax problems and stuff like that. At the end of the day, he would have been here if he really wanted to be here. I think, as far as I'm led to believe, he set a deadline. Because like all this nonsense about 5 and 6 interviews and talking to this guy, talking to that guy, Gerrard was looking at it, rightly so, and thinking, I've got a massive rebuild on my hands here. There's Champions League qualifiers in July. If you want me to come in and do this job, I need to be in situ now, basically. I need to be in situ when Barry Ferguson was there to actually start the process of recruitment, because I've got a backroom staff to get, I've got players to go, I've got transfers, I've got people to get in, I've got people to get out. And he set Rangers a deadline to say, listen, if you want me, this is my deadline. And Rangers didn't meet it, and he walked away. He just simply eliminated himself from the process for his own, probably, his own self-respect more than anything else. And they had the chance to get him. If they're sounding him out now, all they're going to do is cost himself money, because he's probably going to turn around and say that he wants more money to come and take the job on, and it's obviously going to cost money to get rid of Russell Martin as well. So if they make a mistake, if they're new owners and they put their hands up, fine, right? But they're not necessarily inexperienced new owners, because obviously they've been involved in sports at a high level for such a long time, and they've had leads and stuff like that. So fine, we'll take it. But they need to do something about it before it's too late. There's no point in doing something about it in October, November time when the league's already gone. At this moment in time, the league isn't going. As much as it's been a crap start, it's been a really, really bad start. This is still very much salvageable at this moment in time, but you need to do something about it now. There's no point in plugging a hole in the ship, and the ship's already halfway down the water. You need to plug the hole now and get rid of them. Mitch,
unless I'm just going on the assumption that they maybe do make a managerial change. I'm not saying that they're thinking that or anything like that. Just that would be my preference. But any new manager coming in, he's now got 20-odd million spent on a team that's not his. They're really going to have to look for someone who plays the style of football that Russell Martin wants to play, but does it better. Any new manager is going to say, "Though these aren't my players."
See, at that point, I think this is where the big differential between us and a lot of clubs are right now. We've made it very clear it's not a manager's job that you have here, it's a head coach's job. You will coach the players that are purchased for the club by those in the by Kevin Thelwell and Purdy. And these are players, there's bits as well here, and it's kind of come to mind that I've got Russell Martin waffling nonsense on the TV in front of me just now doing the post-match, and I'm not really paying attention to him. I would like that to be the case, but we've heard proud, courage, we'll learn from mistakes. All the buzzwords are already out. We're about 2 minutes into his interview. But there's players, for example, within this team right now. There is the quality in the team right now is so much better than what it was last year, and the balance in the team is much better. Yes, there is arguably probably 3 or 4 players still needs to go. They still need to go, to make the squad a bit more complete, to bring in a couple of other bodies. But the players we have at our disposal should be enough, by far and away, to blow the vast majority of teams out the water. This isn't a player issue. And any manager looking at the options, available to them within that squad right now, going, this is a team that could comfortably and should comfortably beat 10 other teams in this league, quite comfortably, with the Old Firm games probably being tighter than most of us would like it to be. But again, you look at the teams, and even his selections baffle. Bajrami had a standout game against Alloa, where probably it was arguably the best he'd looked since his signing for us. And since the start of the season and the appearances we've seen with Bajrami in the team, Baj has given a very good account of himself on those appearances. And yet, during the Euro with the Champions League qualifying matches, he's kept a player like Dowell in who's been abject at best, and then took out Bajrami to make space for Mikoba, which he had to, so we had a left back in the team. Then you roll on to a game like today, and I don't even think Bajrami made the bench today. Somebody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. So at that point, you're saying we have a midfield that's been imbalanced for a good 2 or 3 weeks now minimum, but we've also left one of the most informed midfielders out of the team. it's quite hard to then turn around and say it's not the manager's fault when decisions like that have been made beside him. You know, when he's making the decisions himself. You know that way.
Ryan, this is meant to be just a post-match thoughts. We will go into more depth tomorrow on the 6:30 podcast, so please join us at 6:30 tomorrow. Ryan, mate, along with all the comments at the side, the fans are a bit fed up at the moment. What's your kind of final thoughts on the game today?
As expected, and it's just showing what we were saying week after week, that there's guys that are in the team that shouldn't be in the team. Talk about Joe Rothwell in particular, pointing fingers towards Danilo. It shows where we're actually needing strength, and we're, I say, desperate for a goal scorer. There was one thing that we haven't actually, and I'm sorry to take us right back to the start, right? I've said in the pre-match about the first goal that we lost, and I prayed that we didn't lose a goal at that again. And I highlighted the fact that Jack Butland's starting position for the first goal on Tuesday night was at the edge of his D, whilst his two centre-halves were in the opposition's half. And he should be at least 5 or 10 yards further forward. Jack Butland's starting position, again, the two centre-halves are in St Mirren's half. Jack Butland's starting position for their goal today was in his 6-yard box, which is, for a professional goalkeeper at 30-odd-year-old, is criminal. Absolutely criminal. So I'm starting to point the finger towards the goalie again. And I know the goalie had a great save at the end of the game, but I'm starting to look at the goalkeeper and I'm thinking, if you want to play this system for sticking with, the goalie's probably not suitable again for this, because the goalkeeper should be standing in that situation at the very least at the edge of his 18-yard box. So he's got an opportunity to come out and possibly... He's in his 6-yard box. All he's done is just made it easy for the St Mirren striker to score. So it's just highlighting, again, areas of weakness for it. And other clubs are just going to be looking at it thinking, all we need to do is just knock the ball into their half. And it's basically almost just leaving a fairway in our half. You just pitch the ball in there. At some point, somebody run on it and score, because the centre-half's not going to get back and the goalkeeper's not going to come out for it. So just find a space in there, run onto it, and you'll probably score. It's awful.
Well, it's awful. Thanks for coming on, Ryan. Mitch, I'm going to give a shout out to my work colleague Aidan, who listens to all our podcasts, and Yuri's favourite podcaster.
Oh, what a guy. He's obviously not got a brain cell either, like you.
I guess if he was in a group chat, he maybe would have a different opinion of some of your takes. But yeah, I thought I'd mention that to you while you're on. Final thoughts on the game, mate?
Final thoughts, not good enough, but not... The alarm bells are ringing, but the fire's no caught completely and, out of control yet. That's
fair enough. That's great. Well, look, thank you everyone for watching. I know it's not been an easy listen, but please do join us during the week. We have podcasts every night. You can also listen to us on all the usual apps like Apple and Amazon and Spotify. If you want to listen to podcasts, we're up there uploading every day as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll catch up with you during the week. And remember, every night is a Rangers Journal night.